Dragons are among the most enduring and fascinating mythical creatures across human history. Their form, significance, and stories have permeated the folklore of almost every culture, from ancient China and Greece to medieval Europe and Mesoamerica. These creatures, often depicted as fearsome and powerful, vary significantly from culture to culture, yet they all share certain similarities that have fascinated humanity for thousands of years. What is it about dragons that makes them such a universal figure in mythology? This article explores the origins of dragons, their meanings, and why nearly every culture has its own dragon myth. What is a dragon? Before diving into the history and cultural significance of dragons, it is essential to define what we mean by a dragon. While dragons take on many forms, they are typically depicted as large, serpent-like or reptilian creatures. Often they are capable of flight and fire-breathing, though these attributes are not universal. Dragons frequently symbolize great power and are associated with both good and evil, depending on the culture. In Western traditions, dragons are typically portrayed as destructive, malevolent beings that heroes must slay to save kingdoms. In Eastern mythology, particularly in China, dragons are considered wise, benevolent creatures who symbolize strength, prosperity, and good fortune. So why are dragons present in so many cultures? Let's explore the possible origins and commonalities that unite dragon myths from different parts of the world. The universal symbolism of dragons. Despite the regional differences in dragon depictions, dragons tend to symbolize similar things: power, chaos, the natural world, and the unknown. They often straddle the line between being creators and destroyers, embodying forces that humanity has long sought to understand and control. 1. Dragons and the power of nature. One of the most common reasons dragons appear across so many cultures is their connection to the natural world. In many myths, dragons are tied to natural forces, especially water, storms, and the earth. For example, in Chinese mythology, dragons are deeply connected to water and are seen as controllers of rivers, seas, and rainfall. They are celebrated during festivals like the Dragon Boat Festival, where people honor their ability to bring rain and ensure a bountiful harvest. In Western mythology, however, dragons are often linked to destruction and chaos. For instance, in Norse mythology, the serpent-like dragon Jormungandr is said to encircle the earth, and when it releases its tail, it will bring about the apocalypse, Ragnarok. Here, the dragon represents nature's uncontrollable and destructive power, emphasizing humanity's helplessness in the face of the world's larger, more chaotic forces. 2. Guardians of treasure and knowledge. Dragons are also often depicted as guardians of great treasures or knowledge, further emphasizing their power and mystery. In European medieval legends, dragons are frequently associated with hoarding vast treasures, such as in the Anglo-Saxon epic Beowulf, where the hero must battle a treasure-guarding dragon. This motif of guarding treasure extends into other cultures as well. In ancient Mesopotamian mythology, the chaos monster Tiamat, often depicted as a dragon, was a guardian of primordial waters and cosmic knowledge. The dragon's role as a protector of valuable resources is symbolic. In many ways, the creature embodies the challenge of attaining wisdom, wealth, or mastery over the natural world, something that can only be achieved through bravery, struggle, and overcoming great obstacles. 3. The Serpent Symbol. At the heart of most dragon myths is the serpent. Dragons are often depicted as giant serpentine creatures, and serpents have played a significant role in mythology for thousands of years. In many cultures, serpents are symbols of both life and death, creation and destruction. The Ouroboros, an ancient symbol depicting a serpent eating its own tail, represents the cyclical nature of the universe, with life and death perpetually intertwined. The transformation from serpent to dragon in various mythologies may reflect the evolution of the serpent's symbolic significance. Over time, the serpent's association with both danger and protection may have led to the creation of the dragon, a more powerful and mythical version of the snake. Dragons in Eastern mythology. One of the most famous examples of dragons in mythology comes from China. Chinese dragons, unlike their Western counterparts, are typically benevolent creatures associated with wisdom, power, and the forces of nature. They are considered the protectors of the people and controllers of weather, especially rain, which was vital to agricultural societies. 1. The Chinese dragon. In China, dragons are revered as cultural symbols of power, strength, and prosperity. They are often depicted as long, serpent-like creatures with scales, horns, and claws. Unlike Western dragons, Chinese dragons are not typically depicted with wings, though they are believed to have the ability to fly. According to Chinese mythology, the Yellow Emperor, one of the founding figures of Chinese civilization, was said to have transformed into a dragon upon his death and ascended to the heavens. Dragons were also thought to reside in the celestial realm, and were closely associated with the emperor and the imperial family. In fact, the emperor was often referred to as the son of the dragon. Moreover, Chinese dragons are strongly connected to the element of water, and they are believed to control the weather, particularly rain and floods. This connection made dragons an essential part of agricultural society, as rainfall was necessary for crops. Chinese people would pray to dragons for rain, and festivals like the Dragon Boat Festival were held to honor these mighty creatures. 2. Dragons in Japanese mythology. Dragons are also prominent in other parts of East Asia, such as Japan. While Japanese dragons, or Ryu, share similarities with Chinese dragons, they often have 3 claws instead of 4. They are still associated with water and are believed to live in bodies of water, such as lakes, rivers, or the sea. In some stories, Japanese dragons can transform into humans, and they are frequently portrayed as protectors of sacred places. Dragons in Western mythology. In contrast to the benevolent dragons of the East, Western dragons are typically portrayed as malevolent beings that must be defeated by heroes. These dragons are often depicted as massive, fire-breathing reptiles with wings, claws, and fearsome teeth. 1. Dragons in Greek and Roman mythology. In Greek mythology, dragons frequently appear as guardians of sacred places or treasures. One of the most famous dragons is Ladon, the 100-headed serpent dragon that guarded the golden apples in the Garden of the Hesperides. Ladon was ultimately slain by the hero Heracles as part of his 12 labors. Another well-known Greek dragon is the Hydra, a serpent-like creature with multiple heads. Each time one head was cut off, 2 more would grow in its place. The Hydra lived in the swamps of Lerna and was killed by Heracles in another one of his legendary labors. In Roman mythology, dragons were often associated with the gods and divine protection. The Draco, for example, was a dragon that symbolized Roman legions. Dragon banners, or draconarius, were carried into battle as symbols of strength and military might. 2. Dragons in medieval European mythology. By the medieval period, dragons had become deeply embedded in European mythology and Christian symbolism. In Christian tradition, dragons were often associated with Satan and evil. The story of St. George and the Dragon, in which the knight slays a dragon that is terrorizing a village, became one of the most famous Christian legends, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil. Medieval dragons were often depicted as monstrous, winged creatures that hoarded gold and destroyed villages. They were challenges to be overcome by noble knights, and their defeat symbolized bravery, righteousness, and divine favor. Dragons in Mesoamerican mythology. The feathered serpent, also known as Quetzalcoatl in Aztec mythology and Kukulkan in Mayan mythology, is one of the most significant dragon-like figures in Mesoamerican culture. Unlike the malevolent dragons of European lore, the feathered serpent was a god of wind, wisdom, and fertility, as well as a protector of humanity. Quetzalcoatl played a crucial role in Mesoamerican creation myths, and was revered as a benefactor who taught civilization and knowledge to humans. The feathered serpent's design as a serpent-like being with feathers reflects both the natural world's danger and beauty. This blending of a snake's strength with the elegance of a bird highlights the harmony of creation and destruction, a common theme in dragon mythology worldwide. Psychological and anthropological explanations for dragon myths. While the existence of dragons is purely mythical, their widespread presence in human culture has intrigued scholars for centuries. Why do almost all cultures have some form of a dragon myth? There are several psychological and anthropological theories that attempt to explain this phenomenon. 1. Fear of predators. One popular theory suggests that dragon myths may have originated from humanity's primal fear of large predators. Early humans lived alongside dangerous animals like snakes, crocodiles, and large cats, and the image of the dragon may have arisen as a symbolic representation of these threats. The dragon's ability to fly, breathe fire, and hoard treasures could represent a combination of traits from different animals that early humans feared or revered. 2. Fossil discoveries. Another possible explanation for the origins of dragon myths is the discovery of dinosaur fossils. In ancient times, people might have stumbled upon the fossilized remains of large, long-extinct creatures like dinosaurs, and interpreted them as evidence of dragons or other mythical beings. The massive bones of creatures like Tyrannosaurus rex or plesiosaurs could easily be mistaken for the remains of dragons, feeding into the mythology of giant reptilian creatures. 3. The collective unconscious. The famous psychologist Carl Jung proposed that myths and symbols like the dragon emerge from the collective unconscious, a shared repository of human experiences and archetypes. According to Jung, dragons represent a universal symbol of chaos and the unknown, embodying the fear and awe that humanity feels toward the uncontrollable forces of nature. Dragons are among the most universally recognized and enduring creatures in human mythology. Whether they are benevolent protectors in the East or malevolent beasts in the West, dragons embody our fascination with the natural world, power, and the unknown. From controlling the elements to guarding treasures, dragons serve as symbols of creation, destruction, and the balance of forces that shape the universe. The widespread presence of dragons in cultures around the world may be attributed to humanity's collective need to make sense of the mysteries of the world. Whether born from the fear of predators, the discovery of fossils, or deep psychological archetypes, dragons continue to captivate and inspire, standing as powerful symbols in our cultural imagination.